Hello, and thank you for joining. In this quick demonstration, we're going to take a closer look at some of the governance capabilities of InfoSphere Information Server. In particular, we're going to look at those capabilities as reflected by the integration that exists between Cognos and Information Server. So we're going to run a report, and if we're in the role of a business user who needs to make decisions based upon information about customers. This happens to be a financial example, and our business user might be new to the position, recently promoted, or perhaps part of an acquisition, and isn't completely sure of the definitions that exist within the report. A critical part of information governance is establishing a semantic understanding across the entire organization for business concepts, business definitions, and ultimately being able to tie those things to the technical assets of the organization, such as columns, tables, databases, business intelligence reports. Cognos is a perfect example of a place where we want to be able to get to those semantic definitions directly and self-empower business users to find out what they need in order to have confidence for making the decisions that are necessary. So here we are sitting in this report, and if our business user doesn't really understand credit risk score or wants to know more about how this bank defines that, they can contextually inside of Cognos use their right click option to bring up a menu that offers the opportunity to go into the glossary. This does a contextual search, grabbing the text as presented within the Cognos Report viewer and going into the glossary to perform the search. This goes into the InfoSphere Information Server metadata layer, bringing up this list of candidate columns based on the search. Now from here, I can click on any one of these to get additional details. I see a short description, a long description, and certain other elements of information. And that may be enough once I see the description that's in the glossary here to make decisions on the report that I'm looking at. We also have the opportunity, in addition to this direct connection to Cognos, to use a general browser interface. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to go deeper into the term by clicking here on the Open in Browser option, which will bring me to the general browser interface that I could access from anywhere. So we can see a business-oriented view of the business concept, or business term as we call it, called credit risk score, the short description, and the details that are here. This might tell me a little bit more about it, but perhaps I'm still confused as to why we're using a proprietary score and would like to know a little bit more about how it is used within the organization. One thing I can do is to call upon our steward. Stewardship is a critical part of any governance initiative. So I can click here, and if I'm not personally connected to Pete Hornberger, I don't know him from my experience with the company because I'm brand new, at least I now know this is a person who's responsible for this concept and perhaps responsible for this report. I can email them or reach them otherwise through direct contact, shortening the time it takes me to find the expertise that I'm looking for. I can also see other information about this particular term. I see an example of it. I can tell when it was created and what it means. The business glossary has all kinds of relationships, and one of the relationships that could be interesting to me are related terms. And since I came from an acquisition, I might look at this and say, oh, CR score, I remember that, we used to use that. And so I can click on that because everything is wildly hyperlinked within the business glossary. And I can see CR score, but I see, oh, that term has been deprecated. So we're not supposed to be using that one anymore. All right, so I'm fairly comfortable now with what I'm looking at, but I can see I'm supposed to use credit risk score, defined very similarly, and I can certainly call Pete if I have additional concerns. We also see there are related terms, credit risk, customer credit risk rating, and other things that will hopefully give me a deeper understanding of the report and the terminology I'm looking at. We also can see notes, which can be added here by the authors of the glossary. They see here that the credit risk department recommended an update to the long description and also provided the Word document that goes into further detail. Oh, Word document, I didn't see that. Well, I can see some history here, which will give us details that is important to understand how a term has evolved. We can see here that there are some changes that were made. The extra detail about how the score is calculated is sitting here in the history. But let's go find that Word document. Oh, I see here there are additional references and a hyperlink. This is an opportunity for the business glossary to reach out to any other website, perhaps SharePoint or some other place where you have these documents and can now catalog them in a useful location and see the details. So here's the document immediately available to me at my fingertips, and of course directly as a result of my looking for a term while inside of Cognos. So we'll close that and look at one other element of the business glossary, which is what we call assigned assets. The business glossary provides a bridge between business users and technical users, and basically IT and business, by taking the business concepts and relating them to technical assets in the organization. This is not just a data dictionary, but is so much more, because I can point a term not just to a column, but to a table or a database or elements of a report or additional reports. And perhaps I was looking at the wrong report or would like to see other reports that are related to it that I'm not familiar with. So this is my opportunity to perhaps find out what these reports are and then go ahead and execute those and lead me closer to making the decisions that I need to make. So that in the end, when I'm looking at my original Cognos report, I'll have a better understanding for what credit risk score is and can make confident decisions with that new understanding. Thank you.